All right, sorry about that. My microphone is not working, and let me make sure that my players are set to the correct. Okay, you are all unmuted. Welcome, welcome, everyone. My name is Obsidia. I am the DM of this campaign, Nexus Forlorn Legacy, and I hope you're all excited for another session because I know I am. Um, as is tradition, we're going to be doing around the table introductions before a brief session recap, and then we jump right in. It should be some wild silliness that's going to happen, and some potentially new art to show off. So I hope you all are ready. So first off, we have Beatrix the bunny.
Hello, hello. My name is Beatrix. I am a taxidermy jackalope VTuber. I do variety stuff, usually focused on roguelikes, RPGs, and digital artwork. But if you're interested in hearing more about that stuff, you're welcome over on my channel whenever you want. Most of these days, I've been doing a lot of artwork and slowly making a Pokemon region from scratch. That's just the power of ADHD, baby. Tonight, however, I am going to be playing as Feng-chen Wong, the greatest future overlord you could ever hope to follow.
Thank you, V. Always appreciate it. Next up, we got Meris.
Hello, everyone. I'm Meris. I am a celestial dragon VTuber. My speciality includes storytime, reading, ASMR streams. I also run my own D&D Good Society mashup campaign called The Trial of Hearts, which is an homage to all things fantasy romance, and it's just a delightful time. But today I am, as per the usual, chucking all of my brain cells directly into the garbage and playing Soleil, the party's hot pink tiefling fae werewolf himbo. Um, I never get tired of saying that. So yeah, happy to be here and be gay and a mess.
You know, the true tragedy is because you have antlers, I can no longer refer to you as the horniest member of the party.
It's true. It's ironic, isn't it?
Yes, yes. But I always appreciate having you here, Maris. Next up, we got Sif, the VTuber.
OMG, it is me, Sif_VTuber, that living suit of armor that does art and plays games. Not necessarily together. But hi, I am also role-playing as Nafisa, a cute little stone dragonborn girl with her little stone dragon dog, Nyx. Yeah. I love you guys.
We love you too, Seth.
Yeah, and we all love Nyx. She's a good girl.
That's my dog.
She has a bandana, you know she's good. But thank you, Sif. And then last but not least, we've got Lily the Fae.
Hello, my name is Lily. I am a amateur artist bean that focuses on drawing D&D stuff for my own personal characters and my own personal campaign, which we'll get to later, and just general trans experience comics. I am playing Aurora, who is a sheep satyr, scribes, wizard, bimbo, in the way of wisdom bimbo-ness. Her intelligence is very good. But yeah, so I'm very excited to be here. As mentioned just a bit ago, we are T minus 12 days before I start to record my personal D&D campaign, which is going to be Mistwalker's Spectrum of Eternity. That is the official title of it.
Ooh.
It's a sort of sequel series to a old D&D series that Leech of the Bronze originally ran, but going to be kind of taking it, restarting the timeline and putting all these old faces into new situations. There is no need to really know what happened in the last campaign because it's mostly going to be a fresh start, other than just minor references. But other than that, very excited to be here.
It's a sequel reboot.
Exactly.
But I am so happy it has like an extra name. Now it's a true like 2025 video game title. And
You know, it's the Persona
Now we got
5
the light
Royal.
novel title.
Now I can do better than that for a light novel.
as the creator of Eberron, Ashes the Last War, and Nexus, Forlorn Legacy, I support all of these things.
Shoutouts to the homie Curse of Strahd.
And Strahd, he's here too.
With all the sad gays. But yes, thank you, Lily. Thank you, everyone. Previously on Nexus Forlorn Legacy, our heroes immediately jumped into the action amidst their heist in a Caecilian city to try and steal a particular unit of measurement known as a semi-truck's worth sized dragon skull on behalf of a pair of lesbian dragon benefactors. And as they all proceeded their different ways of infiltrating the party and getting information, Soleil and Aurora found the location of the dragon skull and proceeded to drop down a darkness spell and a shatter to just detonate the wall that it was hiding behind, and then shit hit the fan. And as chaos ensued, Soleil carved a bloody path through the various mercenaries that were trying to thwart him and guard the place. Aurora activated the Pokeball of capturing to shrink and then contain the skull. They then began to flee as Soleil transformed and continued carving his way through all of the mercenaries. Feng-chen tried a little bamboozling, but rolled that nat 1 at a particularly inopportune time and alerted some bad guys to some tomfoolery, which Nafisa then pulled an enormous stone great axe out of a bag of holding and proceeded to comically bonk them into emergency care, as Feng-chen then began to flee from the scene to go hotwire a car so they can have a means of escape. As they finally all reconvened, Feng-chen was able to hotwire the car, start driving through the party, getting shot along the way, ran into some of the guards with the car before sweeping in front of the house for the rest of the party to jump in, including hitting the then invisible Aurora with her car as she slid into place. As they fled from the scene, they bashed through the front gate with Feng giving some instructions about how to operate a car to Nafisa, who was driving, since we had the unique situation where Nafisa had operate land vehicle but came from a culture that didn't have cars, while Feng used to work at a car factory but didn't have operate land vehicle. So together they formed an intrepid duo, and as they fled the scene, they were assailed by some Germanic-speaking people in a pair of cars who began to shoot at them with spells and automatic firearms. They were able to use various spells from Aurora to disable cars, or having people like Soleil cut into the tires to send them out spinning. And with a final flourish, Nafisa was able to drop down some mist, and with that, they were able to disappear before they activated their Stone of Recall to teleport back to the Dragon Mom mansion in the city of Venonia in the Confederatio Umbria. Upon returning, they reported back to the Dragon Moms, and particularly Lady Stella, the older of the two dragons, who took them down into a secret, heavily magically warded subterranean lair, where they got the sense that this is perhaps the true lair of the dragons, was deep underground, where they stored all of their vast wealth and everything. And there they found, behind further abjurative and illusionary wards, a nearly complete dragon skeleton that was, probably several 100 feet long, that had been set up in a form of repose, with the only piece missing being the skull. To which, in a very solemn ceremony, the Lady Stella was able to magically reattach the skull to the rest of the skeleton, and then do some incredibly ancient magic and have it disappear into the void, where the only thing left in the cavernous room was just a few fading raven's feathers. And with that, she informed them that they could spend the night in the mansion, and they would now be fully contracted as a free company in service to the Dragon Moms. And the paperwork would all get drawn up the next morning, but they should take the night to rest. And with that, as the doors closed behind them in the lair, they saw her begin to shapeshift back into her true colossal dragon form, and the last thing they heard was the sound of enormous draconic tears hitting the ground of the spot where the skeleton once stood. And with that, they were escorted to their rooms and were able to curl up for the night. So I think we'll just hop right in there. So all of you are, you're taken to various guest bedrooms. It looks like nobody sleeps in these rooms at all. They are very, very nice. Much like the rest of the above ground estate, everything is done very expensively, but seemingly without any heart behind it, you would say. Like, it's very much wealth for the sake of wealth. There doesn't seem to be any real emotional attachment to anything. And so while these rooms are very nice, they're also, oddly sterile in like the way that, you could have like a millionaire's mansion where they've got like very postmodern, everything's chrome and glass and black and stuff, but there's like really no actual personal effects on anything.
They've lived here, but they haven't lived here.
Correct. And so as you curl up in your rooms, it's one of those things that you've always been kind of bustling about. You've got various anxieties seeing the dragons or the state of the estate and everything. And so you never really had as much time to dwell on it. But now that you're, curling up for the night, going to sleep, that ambient magical radiation that permeates this place as a result of the two dragons living here, that normally feels like kind of like an odd pressure, kind of like behind your eyes. It makes it a little uncomfortable to sleep, because you do have that feeling of just like your ears won't pop, basically. But you guys are also pretty exhausted from your whole fleeing the scene of the crime and all of the gunfire and cuts and stuff you received along the way. So even with the discomfort from the place itself, you're still able to get to sleep that night. But as a side effect of it, you're all going to have some weird dreams. And so, first of all, we'll start off with Soleil. Soleil.
Good. Yes, DM.
For the people, how does Soleil sleep in his very fancy sterile bed?
So, Soleil doesn't like it. It's entirely the impersonal feeling of it just feels like very unnatural to him. So even though, it's a very nice bed that's presented before him with like super nice sheets and a duvet and all of that, I think he legit is going to peel everything off of the bed and like make a little nest somewhere else in the room to make himself feel a little more comfortable, because it's too clean, it's too sterile. He is not gelling with it.
He's nesting.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of because I rewatched it recently, the Count of Monte Cristo, where he's sleeping on the floor in his big mansion.
Yeah, very much like that.
So as you build your little nest of covers, you as a person who is essentially a true fae being rather than a mortal fae, you don't normally like dream when you sleep.
Correct.
You just kind of go into like deactivation mode is probably the best way to consider it. So
like stasis mode.
Yeah.
Just mind blank.
Yeah, you just kind of sleep. You're a blank slate. So, however, while you don't dream, you are still accessible because you do sleep. And so as you are sleeping, you find yourself kind of opening your eyes at one point, and you find yourself in a very familiar kind of like black space, as you were several months ago in game time when a particular woman came to visit you in your sleep. As you look around you, you see like materializing in pink mist is the familiar form of the the young and voluptuous form with her her beautiful curls and glistening horns of the familial resembling pink tiefling of ecstasy cox, your grandmother, as she stands there in a state of she has strategically placed like silk ribbons over parts of her body as she is seemingly held suspended in the air with these very like it's hard to like look at them directly because there's seemingly some magical energy obscuring them, but like bonds around her like hands and legs. And could you please make a perception check, hearing based?
Oh boy. Yeah, let me pull up my character sheet real quick, because that's a thing people do. Perception. 21.
21. You very distinctly hear what sounds to be like hushed whispers and perhaps laughs, giggling maybe, coming from like the space around your grandmother. But it's like very quiet, like it's like somebody is wearing headphones and their music's a little too loud so you can kind of hear a bit of it bleeding through, but it's very indistinct. And then you hear her say, "Oh, Soleil. Oh, it's so good to see you again, sugar."
Hi, Grandma. Is this, am I interrupting something here?
She visibly cringes at you saying grandma. And she goes, "I'm so sorry that you have to see me in such a state. I find myself continually straining at the bonds my captors have put me in. The tormentors that are torturing my every waking moment."
Grandma, do you have a safe word for this whole scene? Because, like, I'm sure that, I've seen people do stuff like this, and I just,
She goes, "Do I look like I am a willing participant in this? I find myself regularly victimized by my assailants."
Okay, so I promised I'd get you out. I took care of the one guy. I need a little more information on the next one to get you out of here.
Yes, I can feel the bonds loosened slightly at the loss of that man from the world, and oh, the feeling of freedom is, oh, well, it is frankly divine. Which you find to be a fun little turn of phrase, considering you killed a divination wizard. um, but she goes, "And I feel that his energy continues to linger about you, but unfortunately, it's going to take more before I can finally be free of my own volition to be able to live in a state of happiness and self-sufficiency in this world. So, unfortunately, I can only give you so much more to help point you in the direction of the next wicked man who finds himself finding joy at my continual suffering."
Listen, I'll take whatever you can give. I mean, I like to think I'm fairly resourceful. I've also recruited a certain number of people to assist me in your liberation. Some dragon guy among them, he's going to be helping me out too. We'll get out of here. Is this getting worse, by the way? I don't remember you being in literal bonds when I saw you last.
It comes and goes. I often find myself changing to the particular whims that these men have at any given moment.
You see. And you're alone, right? Like you're there's no one else here?
Do I look alone, sweetie? No, I'm constantly surrounded by those who have various intentions with my body and my soul.
Right. Well, my promise still stands. I'm doing what I can. As quickly as I can.
I understand you're doing your best, sweetie, but make sure that your new accomplices don't distract you too much from your real objectives. The fate of your poor, unfortunate family members.
Right. Right. I'm sorry. You're right. I won't make that mistake again. I'll do better by you. I shouldn't.
Sorry, continue.
I forget myself sometimes.
She goes, "Oh, it's understandable. I know that you have often found yourself left derelict by some of your other family members, my daughter included, but I assure you that as soon as I'm free of here, we can be together and, well, we can catch up in a true and honest way."
Yeah, I would really like that, and I won't lose sight of that.
So, just remember to use them as is appropriate of their position, but never forget why the true quest, all the people that really need you. People like me. And you see like a single tear comes rolling down her cheek
Oh my god.
as the bonds tighten on her hands and legs.
I imagine it might be the epitome of foolishness to ask if I can just simply cut you loose.
If only it were that easy, these bonds of... They have as much metaphorical strength as they do physical.
Right.
But I find my time here is growing thin, so there are demands being made of me. So please, come closer so I can give you what little information I can. There's limitations on the forthrightness I can be for this particular patron, but I will give you as much as I can.
I'll take whatever it is you can give.
All right, remember this.
Okay.
In a cobalt tower, twins not by birth or blood sit on a throne of lies. Blood and gold flow equally through his fingertips. Strings of oath and vengeance pulls others to his silent tune. He hungers but cannot find succor. He is more than he was, but less for it.
You give all your information in riddles, Grandma?
She goes, "It's all I can give you. There's restrictions by the nature of our pacts."
Okay, I'll see what I can do about finding unrelated twins in a cobalt tower then, I suppose.
I hope you do, and sweetie, I wish you all the luck in your pursuits. It means so much to me to have such a big, strong hero as you trying to fight so hard for somebody who is so powerless as myself.
Well, hopefully a few more of these fellers dead and you'll feel right as rain.
All right, sweetie. Good luck, and until I can see you again. And you see the bonds begin to tighten on her, and you hear some more like giggling and hush things, and she seems to like kind of turn her head to the side and give kind of a very like displeased look at something presumably off camera as she begins to fade into pink mist.
Man, what a piece of work.
And with that, the rest of your night will go by uneventfully as you return to stasis.
Neat.
All right. Next up, Aurora.
All right.
Aurora, as a mortal fae, you do in fact still dream. And but oftentimes your dreams are not simply dreams just because of the nature of the particular bonds that you have formed. And so as you fall asleep this night, you open your eyes and you find yourself floating in a vast black void with the occasional glittering of distant, presumably lights of some way or some such. Everything here is various shades of black and gray and white. And it's a place you've been to before in your dreams. You know that it is you're close to the void when you have this, and it usually means that someone is trying to speak to you. Usually, it's someone that you like. And as you kind of get your bearings, you feel a hand on your shoulder as some fingers kind of wrap around your shoulder, and it's a bit of a reassuring sensation.
I think feeling that sensation, she's immediately going to take her hand and sort of place her hand on top of the hand and just say, Nathras, you don't exactly have to be so secretive about it here.
You hear her say, "My apologies, Aurora. It's not my intent. It is a part of my nature." And she kind of steps in front of you, and she doesn't smile. She has never smiled in your experience with her, but you've grown to know her over the last several years, and she has a degree of emoting that she does through an otherwise pretty cold demeanor. But now standing before you, instead of the usual shadowy presence that manifests itself as your shadow in the material plane, you see the tall, probably 6.5-foot tall fey being that she is entirely in that various shades of grayscale. She's got very sharp features, long pointed ears with numerous silver ear piercings in them. Her eyes are always kind of in this very predatory, half-lidded kind of position. Her bright violet cat's eyes glowing within them as various bright glowing violet markings, tattoos are over her face and running along her neck in various kind of fey design patterns. She's got a she's got a raven's feather tucked behind one of her, tucked behind both of her ears, and her hair is this kind of multicolored in the sense of various shades of gray and white, like almost pine cone like spiked design. And she has a very fluffy collar of raven's feathers that are on a short armored jacket with armored plates along each of her over her like biceps and shoulders, as she has an armored corseted breastplate across her chest that tapers into a pair of black, like some kind of creature's hide leather pants with armored plates along each thigh, a black and violet sash wrapped around her waist and running down the side of her leg, as she looks at you and says, I have a picture. For everyone who's wondering, this is Nethris. I just posted her in the game. And she looks at you and she says, I sensed the pain coming off of you, and I felt it would be necessary to speak to you here.
Yeah. No, that would be a fair way to describe it. I just was not really much reason to hide anything from you. It was a bit of a wild one yesterday with lots of action, I suppose would be the best way to put it. But no, I think that would be correct to say. A lot of pain.
I understand how hard it is for you to be able to deal with these things, and I am sorry I could not better protect you from them.
No, darling. It's simply feeling your embrace. Those few times was comfort. That's more than I think that's what kept me in it. So I do appreciate it.
She puts her gloved hand below your chin and lifts it up to look down at you, and she says, my purpose is to protect you, and I will do everything I can to ensure your safety from this world that tries to hurt you.
She closes her eyes while just being held and just kind of takes a deep breath and just says, I know. I know. You don't know how much it means to me to have you here, watching my back at all times. So, are we are we doing the usual exercise then?
Indeed, I think it would be best if you perhaps painted how you feel. Let it all out.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Do you have my oh, I left my paints over here last time, so I can take care of that.
As you just think about the paints, you just see your brush and colors and easel and stuff just materialize out of the void in front of you.
Perfect.
You and your, the things attached to you, the colors, the brush, etc., being the only thing of true color in this otherwise, grayscaled world here. And
Have you ever
sorry.
I was just gonna say, have you ever had to kill anyone, Nathris? Instead, she's like dipping her brush and getting prepared.
Nethris kind of moves out of the way of Aurora as she starts to paint and wraps her arms around Aurora's waist as she kind of nestles her chin, resting it on Aurora's shoulder as she holds her, and says, Before I protected you, I was a hunter. That is how I gained my place. I have hunted many things, and I have slain many things for it.
I know you said it'd get easier. Well, what the fighting and all that, but killing's a whole other thing, I think. And, you know, I mean, I won't beat around the bush. And she's like dipping her brush and starting to sketch out the drawing. seeing seeing that seeing Soleil be a vicious monster. It was scary, but also reassuring at the same time. And I just feel quite conflicted about that. Like, there's, well, you protect me, and you've definitely killed before from what you're saying. And then he protected me as well. And by God, I saw some things I don't think I've ever seen before. Not that death was too unfamiliar to me. Saw plenty of coffins coming back, anorexia, but it's just a little bit something else to sort of be right there when you see the light fade from their eyes.
When Nethris holds you, it's not a warm embrace. There's nothing about her presence that feels warm, but it is not unpleasant. Probably the best way to describe it as she holds you, it's just like this kind of, leeching away of the pain and numbness sensation. It's kind of like an icy hot when you do the icy part of it. um, and so it just feels like tension and pain and all that just starts to like get just drained away from you as she holds you. And as she says, she's right next to your ear, but she's always talks in a fairly flat way, and just says, "It is correct to be afraid of such monsters, but it is important to know when the monsters are there to protect you from all the dark things in this world. He is a creature of the hunt, and it is often said that mortals, much like the hunt, have their own hounds to protect them from the things that they are afraid of. It seems that he can be your own guard dog."
I mean, you're my little monster, aren't you?
"I will be whatever I need to be to ensure your safety."
I suppose maybe saying little was a bit of a was a bit of a incorrect statement considering you tower above me quite significantly, but you know, you know what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. Seeing the seeing the blood just spill out. And now these are bad men, right? But it's just, I mean, I suppose there could have been a good egg in there. I just don't know. That's scary. But just like you said, I'm just a fragile little sheep, I suppose. So I need I need dogs to protect me.
You view yourself as a good person, correct?
There's a noticeable hesitation at that question. She waits for a moment, just considering the option as the painting continues. She continues to paint even while thinking about this. I think so. I mean, I suppose I don't have much evidence to either side of things, but I know that my intentions, why I do what I do, is is for the good of the suffering. That's that's what drives me. So yeah, I would like to think so, even if I haven't really been able to do anything yet.
Then it's simple. If they try to harm you, then they are bad, evil, wicked men, and your actions are correct. They deserve to suffer for what they tried to do to you. You should not feel sympathy for them.
It's pardon this little play on words in a way, but it's awfully black and white, don't you think?
She doesn't comment about that.
I think that these people, from what Soleil told us, at least, and I do trust him. I do. They just attacked him on a whim. No warning. By God, I bet they would do the same to others. So yeah, they were bad men. They were.
Then you were right for doing what you did. And Soleil served his role appropriately.
I feel like I gotta ask this question. do you do you know Soleil from your time in the Feywild or Void or what have you? I know they kind of intersect a little bit from what I've learned.
I do not know Soleil personally. I have some familiarity. He is the son of the Bargist.
Fair enough. I suppose it would be a little rude and insensitive, maybe, to assume that y'all know each other. I was just kind of curious. I think she kind of looks as the painting that she's drawn, which features essentially just like a person walking with a dagger in their hand. The dagger is bloody, walking away from a sign, like a sign of like what is essentially like bad people. Just kind of putting it out into there as just her trying to essentially feel through these feelings of like it is okay. And she takes a deep breath, puts a few finishing touches on it, and turns around, says, think I think that'll do. And I just to touch on one last thing, the these folks that I find myself with, I think they're good people too. I think they're different than anybody I've ever run into. But I think Nafisa, she's a real sweetheart. And Fun, God, she is something else entirely. I mean, I've lived my life in sort of some weird intersection of high society and just poverty. How she is something. Maybe I should talk to her a bit more. Yeah.
It would
All
be
right.
it'd be good to understand them better. They would be more capable of protecting you.
I do appreciate your always thinking of me sort of mindset. It's very sweet, even if you don't know it.
She, one of the things as you're painting, all the traumas of the previous night, the feeling of the frozen blood splattering against you, the crunching of it under your feet, under your hooves, the gunfire, the fear, all of it kind of begins to fade. It gets numb as you kind of express yourself. And with that, it kind of becomes a lot easier to kind of deal with. You know that this is kind of a ritual practice that Nethris has encouraged over the years to deal with the various traumas of life. So it feels better, and she squeezes your waist a bit as she says, "You are my world, and I wish only to see you safe and happy, and to see the things you paint."
She like blushes a little bit. I'm your world. Oh goodness, that's a bit of a step up from just you being my guardian angel from before. I think you might be showing a little bit of emotion there.
You hear, perhaps you were rubbing off on me.
I got a lot of emotions to go around, so there's plenty left for you, darling.
And just as quickly as that painting is finished, you see it just begin to fade away as the rest of the voidscape also begins to fade. And Nethers will sweep back around to your front, and she goes, "Sleep well, Aurora."
Talk to you in the morning, dear.
"I'll be watching."
I know.
And with that, as the voidscape begins to collapse in on itself, you just see her form begin to disappear as her fingers, touch yours, and then finally just disappear into the rest of the nether as you enter what is presumably the rest of your normal sleep cycle and whatever normal dreams you may have. And as a retroactive, just curiosity, how does Aurora sleep in her bed?
I imagine even being adjacent to wealth, there was probably only a few times where she genuinely slept with like in Verity's bed, given they're not being married yet.
Uh-huh.
But so this is probably the fanciest bed she's ever slept in, because it's either a dorm or home bed, and home wasn't exactly a very well off place.
Yeah.
So she's very much nestled up very happily under a bunch of covers with like 6 pillows, probably holding one of them while she sleeps.
Gotcha. All right. Feng-chen.
Yes.
We'll start off with the first question. How do you sleep in your fancy bedroom?
Oh, gosh. I guess the pragmatic answer is similar to how she always sleeps, which involves an awful lot of shifting and turning around. She's a bit of a side sleeper, which has actually been kind of a blessing in disguise. Losing an arm, because at night she can just pop that off, and hey, there's now literally nothing obstructing. Just a nice, smooth, comfortable contact point.
Does Feng normally pop her arm off while she sleeps?
Yeah, she usually sleeps without it. Sometimes I imagine she'll kind of sleep cast a little bit. Nothing significant, just like little whispers of, well, uh, pun unintended, but of a phantom limb that kind of shifts around the blankets or grabs at one thing or another while she is lying down.
Gotcha. All right. As you sleep, you find yourself in uh, a rather unfortunate position. You are in what appears to be misty streets. Like it's very Silent Hill. Like you look in either direction, and beyond, perhaps 10 feet or so from you in any direction, the mist just basically consumes whatever's out there. Um, and the streets appear to be very much a mishmash of your own home region, your own home neighborhood, back in Caernarfon in Avalon, as well as you notice very like traditional, like a goblinoid style buildings and stuff intermixed with them, seemingly in no particular order. It's very much like a chimeric amalgamation of the two concepts. And as you are looking around, you see just very shadowy figures coming out of the mist and seemingly talking to each other. And you do notice the kind of red or orange or yellow consistent, like kind of glowing eyes, much like your own, coming from the shadows, as you hear them just softly speaking to each other and occasionally casting arms at you. And if you could please make a perception check for me.
All right. No,
Okay.
that is a 11.
Okay. You hear one of the voices say, "I cannot believe she has come here again. It is so hard to see her. It is so painful." And you hear another voice say, I cannot believe she thinks that she is worthy to walk these streets. After everything, after all we have lost." And you hear another voice say, "I do not know why she shows off her own failings like that." And as you look down, you see your arm, just the mechanical arm that you have, just slides off of your socket and tumbles onto the ground, lifeless, as it begins to also get consumed by the mist. You hear another voice say, "This one sounds vaguely familiar, almost like the Dairo that you talked to at your hometown, who says she threw away everything we gave her. We spent so much to give her an education, to train her to be successful, to give the opportunity to advance our clan, to give us more status, more position, to help her family. And she threw it in our faces. She squandered it, wasted it." And you see more and more of these shadowy figures begin to appear around you. And another one says, "The amount of favors we had to exchange to get her that job after college, a job she seemingly was incapable of performing. All she had to do was what she was told, using her training, talking to others. And what did she do? She failed. And we could have done so much with that. We could have helped others, but instead we wasted it on her." And then finally you hear a voice say with a very familiar accent like your father, say, "Maybe it would have been better if we never would have hoped for more from her. Maybe it would have been better if she would have just stayed in the restaurant. Maybe it would have been better had we not expected anything else from someone like her. She did struggle so much with all of the things that should have been easy for her, that should have been normal. And now she simply abandoned us, abandoned her family, and we are the ones who have to suffer with her loss. And
Hmm.
Feng, what do you do in response to this?
I think just a heavy sigh. That time of the month again. Hmm. I wasn't expecting you this early, though. Well, I suppose when you're dead, you have nothing better to do than to wait around for someone to slip up. Hmm. My father, though, that's a relatively new one. I'll grant you that. You're getting more creative with your reminders. I don't think she's even saying this to anyone in particular. Just like she knows that someone's listening, something's listening. She doesn't really know what, but she knows enough that she understands it. It hurts, sure, but it's it's sort of like it's sort of a little like learning to live with chronic pain, you know? It's always there. And it's always something that in the back of your mind you think about, but it's usually something that you just kind of learn to live in spite of, or to acknowledge it, touch the moment, and then just try and let it go. It still hurts though. And I think she's just in that moment.
Okay. As you deal with this familiar sensation of pain and disappointment, you notice just one by one each of the shadowy figures just disappears into the mist as the buildings too disappear, and it's possibly one of the most painful things for a goblinoid to experience, which is just you're just alone. Your arm is still gone, and you're just alone in this just blank, white, misty expanse. And
I just reach a hand to the stump and kind of squeeze it a little bit. Enough for it to be its own source of pain. It's nice being able to control those when you can.
and as you do that, you feel the mist depart as you blink awake, and you see your arm pressing against the stump, the socket where your augmetic normally is, as you feel yourself doing the same pain press as you did in your dream, and you find yourself awake.
Hmm. Well, I suppose I should see about arranging for some breakfast.
All right. And finally, Nafisa. How does Nafisa and Nick sleep?
So Nafisa still hasn't gotten used to comfy beds and misses the time at home. So to recreate the stone floors, she's gonna take all of the bedding, everything comfortable out the bed, and just put it on the floor into like a little nest corner like Soleil did, and then just get in it and then cuddle up with Nyx.
Man, if you guys ever like adventure travel, it's just gonna be this vast like nesting pod for Soleil and Nafisa.
It's the ideal travel situation.
We're her horde.
All right, so you have your little nest formed up as Nyx curls up on you as you guys go to sleep, and you find yourself in a very different dreamscape as you find yourself flying actually with Nyx. Nyx is in a large winged draconic form with you on her back as you soar through the skies, seeing the sprawling grasslands of the plains of the Dragonlands turning into the deserts of the Painted Desert, and the cities of the Revenant Imperium, the ocean. Find yourself all the way back in the Federation, and you have this feeling of freedom, and it's the two of you as it always is and should be, with the unlimited potential of the world around you. No limits, no restraints, no confines of the mountain home that you originally came from, and you just experience this joy of exploring this together. What is going through Nafisa's head as she basically can soar throughout the world?
It's a strange feeling because it's something that she's been feeling this whole time while she's been away at home. And you think normally it's like when you go on vacation and you travel and you think normally, yeah, I can finally sleep, I can turn this brain off, but you're still out in like vacation mode in your head, in your dreams, in bed. Yeah, she is greatly enjoying it, and as she's looking out over the lands, she is trying to keep an eye out for something. Now she isn't sure what she's looking for, but she is trying to look for something whilst enjoying the skies with Nyx.
Okay. As you go around looking for something, you feel like you see it. It begins to encroach, kind of like a moss or grassland reclaiming Earth, but you begin to see just this ever-growing puddle of blue stone or some kind of substance begin to start painting over the western continent. Basically, it starts spreading and spreading, and you see the trees basically become these like blue rocks, and the buildings in turn are transformed into this similar kind of blue stone substance, and you see animals and people who all have blank faces and hard to pin down features as only can exist in dreams also begin to transform, just like in mid movement, mid talk, mid whatever they're doing. It's just a sudden transformation as this kind of washes over them, and it just seems to be spreading everywhere. What do you do?
How high up am I?
As high up as you need to be.
Yeah, it is a dream. I don't see the gang, right, in my dream.
They're not here. It's very abstract for like people and stuff. Like, if you have a dream where it's really hard to kind of pin down background characters in a dream.
I am going to. How does Nyx feel? Is she afraid of the stone?
She's a reflection of you, so. She is separate, but like, she's gonna act in a way consistent with you.
All right, sick. We are going to see where the stone is originating from. We're going to keep flying west.
As you go west, it seems to be originally starting in Tyrol, and then as you think about that, you notice that it's not uniquely in Tyrol. It's also, you see it coming from north of the Painted Desert near the Sapphire Sea, you could say. As it seems to be sprouting in multiple places as it expands.
So at this point, that feeling of liberation is gone, and Nafisa's beginning to, I'm assuming, going to panic a little bit, even though it's the dreamscape, and she is going to fly back east to the eastern marches.
As you begin to panic and that feeling of freedom begins to disappear, you notice that you're losing height. Your Nyx is struggling a lot more to fly. Her wings begin to like atrophy as you're beginning to fly, and of course this only makes the fear and the anxiety worse, which only compounds the effect. And as you find yourself getting closer and closer to the ground, tumbling out of the sky, you notice that the earth itself has now been transformed into this blue stone, and the mountains where your tribe originally originated from are now entirely cast out of this stone. And there are no sounds. There's no birds, there's no insects, there's no anything. It's just silent. And the stone just keeps going. You can see in the imaginary distances that are conjured forth in your psyche, you see that the oceans themselves disappear and are paved over in this stone, and it just seems to be going and going until there's nothing left in this world. What do you do?
Nafisa is going to pick up whatever form Nyx is in right now after tumbling and crumbling.
Nyx is in her normal form to you. Her large draconic flying thing is gone. She's now her little draconic dog self.
Nafisa is going to pick up Nyx and continue to evade and just run from the cobalt while like just staring up at the sky, hopefully. Just wishing for something to come down to help her.
And as you stare and run, you find that the distances begin to collapse in on themselves. It's seemingly, when you try to run away at a dream where it seems you can never quite outrun what's pursuing you. And it doesn't transform you, though. As the stone finally overtakes you, it just kind of goes below your feet. And you just see it continue to expand. And the skies grow deadened, as if whatever sustains the sky normally is being drained in turn. And storms of blue lightning begin to crack across the land as the nature itself seems to be rebelling and destroying itself, as the world is just... You've never felt so sick of the color blue in your life until this moment. And as you turn around looking for something that makes sense, you see that the only thing that is not stone around you, the only person left untransformed, is simply a figure of hard to distinguish body with just a pair of glowing blue eyes staring out in what is an entirely lifeless, dead world. And as you look at it, you just feel that there is potential behind those eyes. And you wake up.
Is it morning right now?
Yep.
Oh, Nyx, did you see the blue?
She's shaking as she, is on top of you. She goes, "What was that? It was scary."
Okay, Nyx, it is just a dream. And if it's not just a dream, then we will deal with it. But for now, we are going to not think about it. And we are going to get dressed and brush our teeth and eat good food, okay? Does that sound good, Nyx?
Okay.
And she'll like scratch behind Nyx's horns and stare out the window. Is the sky like still lit? Is it still lively?
Yeah, it's just like a normal Venonia morning. Above the pollution line, the sun is shining as it has already, risen for the day. You notice that there is the kind of, just because of the lingering chemicals in the air around Vennonia, the sun always fractals in this very kind of beautiful polluted way. That is, it's cozy in its own sense, but it just feels like reality and nothing like what you saw.
And Nafisa's going to just let out one long exhale and make a note of this stream in her journal. Pick up Nyx to go enjoy a healthy Feng breakfast.
Okay. And with that, we have finished the dream sequences. Everyone wakes up.
I'm feeling great.
They call her trauma-free Aurora up in here. So now we're going to go to some other little vignettes. And Soleil, you wake up for the day, and what do you wish to do?
I think waking up with a renewed sense of purpose, Soleil is gonna take a gander at himself and realize he's still gross. Still there's the blood stains of the people that he carved down from the very successful heist mission. Still caked onto his robes, and giving a bit of a sigh, goes to first wash up himself, but after doing so will try to, once he leaves his room, try to seek out any of the kobold servants that are around, just whoever's closest, and ask them where the equivalent of a laundry room would be.
You flag down a little kobold butler, and he looks kind of confused. He's like,
do you need to have your clothes cleaned at all? We can provide that service.
Oh, I'm sure you do, and I'm sure you do a tremendous job of it. This is something I'd prefer to do myself, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. I can show you that way, sir, if you would like.
Thank you.
And little butler will take you to a part of the house where you see that there is just a lot of laundering areas, like lots of water and heating and clotheslines and stuff, where you see probably about 24 kobolds going about various laundering services for the house.
Is this to your satisfaction?
Very much. Thank you. Thank you for letting me use the room. I'll be out of your hair in no time.
Of course, sir. If you need anything, please just do not hesitate to let us know.
Of course. Thank you. And honestly, even before this guy leaves, Soleil's gonna start to undress,
in front of all the kobolds doing laundry.
Yep, he doesn't care. He's gonna start taking off the bloodied silk robes, and shuffle around and gather a few supplies, like a water basin and some very particular unscented soaps, and with surprising meticulousness, Soleil is going to scrub out the stains from his clothes, and hang them to dry, and once dried, he collects them back and returns to his room, and from there, rummaging through a few of his things, takes out a little travel sewing kit, and is going to start mending the tears in the silk, either, accidentally self-inflicted from the fight, or, from, the adversaries that he was, fighting. And again, with surprising skill and meticulousness, considering he's a pretty big guy, mends the tears in what's it called? Like kaketsuki, the invisible mending, where it's like the tear never even happened, and matching the patterns up perfectly. So that way the clothing looks as pristine as possible.
Wonderful. It should be noted that when you started stripping naked in the laundry room, you heard some yelping by various kobolds and like frantic speaking in high draconic amongst them, and you have no idea what the fuck they're saying, but
Nope.
there seems to be a quick exchange where they kind of, some of them side eye you, others like do the hands in front of their eyes, then opening up their hands slightly as they look at you, as they try to rush about still doing their work and very, very intentionally trying to ignore you.
Yep, he's in his own little world, doing his own thing.
But yeah, you're able to go about, as you've presumably done many times in your life, going about mending your clothes. And is there anything you say or do during this process?
I think this is a moment of reflection for him. He very much does not like to ruin these garments, and he tries to avoid it at all cost, which is why in the first combat he actually took them off, handed them to Aurora, and said, "Hey, keep an eye on these before I Hulk out." But he didn't have that opportunity in the midst of the heist. So while he knows, objectively speaking, it's not his fault that he is mending these yet again, he can't help but feel a little bit of disappointment. After all, these are one of the few things left on this earth that show that his father was at one point here and alive.
Gotcha. Well, you're able to go about doing this. I'm assuming all of this is before breakfast.
Yeah, we can say so.
Okay.
So he will then later arrive at breakfast, freshly washed and laundered and looking quite presentable by Soleil standards.
Okay. Nafisa, do you wish to have breakfast first before your thing or after your thing?
Before would be nice, yeah, before
Okay.
I run into everybody, so I can cry first.
Okay. So, as Feng goes about breakfast preparation, the kobolds try to assist you in any way they can, but, if you shoo them away, they'll just go about doing their other food prep for all the other servants of the estate. But you will make your breakfast. Do you wish to specify what kind of breakfast you make, or do you just want to say you made breakfast?
Yeah, I think today is going to be just some kongi. Keep it simple. No need to overcomplicate some things.
Okay. So everybody, you gather in the massive dining room area where Feng has gotten up bright and early and made breakfast for everyone. You guys can discuss while you're here briefly.
I imagine.
Good morning.
I just want to add the little touch that Aurora probably arrives a little late after getting lost slightly on the way to this place.
Okay. So,
Morning.
yeah, everybody showed up eventually.
I'm sorry for being a little late. This place is kind of a maze, isn't it?
No
Yeah, I
need
just had
to
one of the
apologize
I
for
had one of the
that.
little guys show me around.
That's smart. I should do that next time. At least until I get the lay of the land.
So, how did anyone else find the accommodations? I found them to be a little odd sleep.
I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
no. You spoke up first, please.
I saw lots of blue last night, so I don't want to sleep here again if that's okay.
Blue?
I had a weird dream where I was in the sky, I was flying with Nix, my darling Nix, but then everything slowly got blue. There were blue rocks coming from the sea, from the blue sea desert, from the west, and everything was slowly being covered in blue rocks. And then at the end of it, there was this one person with glowing blue eyes staring back at me, and it was a lot of blue, and I don't want to see that color right now, and I do not think sleeping here is good for us. At least for me, for the dreaming.
Did you see a tower in your dream?
I don't believe I did.
No.
If I did, I didn't write in my notes. No.
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 All right,
Did
he
you ever
just goes
dream
back
about-
to Eden.
Did you have a dream about towers, Soleil?
Oh, I don't dream.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you okay, Soleil?
Oh
that-
no, it's a Fae thing. We don't dream. But I talked to my grandma though, so it was nice to see her again.
Your grandmother contacted you in a not dream?
Mm-hmm.
What? Well, I was going to elaborate, but what seems to be more than enough?
Nafisa's just gonna pat Soleil on the head and say, "It's okay, Soleil. I miss my mom too."
No, like legit. She just like kind of showed up and
Is she some manner of caster?
he kind of pauses at that and goes, I don't actually know.
If she was able to manifest in your dream, I bet she used some kind of magic to be able to do it.
I imagine she's
actual
probably
magic.
got some kind of magic on account of and then he pauses for a moment because he kind of has a little bit of a light bulb go off in his head that he probably shouldn't be like speaking too much about this.
On account of what? You sort of trailed off there.
Well, I mean, she's got herself in a bit of trouble. You know, like patrons coming to collect their due.
I understand. It can be very difficult from what I have seen living as a senior citizen, many things that you can't do anymore by yourself. Understandable that she needs assisted help for her lifestyle.
See,
I
that's
mean,
the thing. She's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So
Well,
trying my best to help her out.
is someone trying to force her into a home?
Trust me, I wish I could bring her back home, but I think the problem is more that she seems to be in an isolated pocket dimension. Can't get out.
How much of this is metaphor?
None of it.
Oh,
I mean, you see, that was quite intelligent considering you said you have no knowledge of magic.
I know a little bit. I mean,
I'd say so. I saw you cast magic last night.
yes,
You
you are
can cast
certainly
magic, Soleil?
no. I just
Show me,
I
show me,
got.
show me.
It's just a little bit, and he'll like lift up his hands, and you see like the tips of his fingers get frosted over and icy. I got just a little bit of cold stuff on account of my mother. She's a Ladrin, so
Oh,
I got some ass magic from her.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I didn't practice much with it, so I can't do a whole lot. But
That is quite strange. So she has fallen in a pocket dimension and she cannot get up out of it.
that's correct.
Hmm.
We'll help you, Soleil.
Just like that.
Yeah, of course.
I don't
I mean,
see
I
why
don't want to
not.
make you guys promise. Looks at like Aurora and Feng.
No,
but-
I mean he's protected me many times, and I value that greatly. So
Filial piety has its place, especially
mean-
in our society.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd appreciate all the help I can get, but I wanna make it very clear. If you get mixed up in all this, it could be pretty damn dangerous.
We're already wanted criminals in an entire country.
she's got a point.
Just flashing back to last night in the car shenanigans.
It's a good thing that nobody has like a name or anything to pin us on, right?
You mean? What do you mean, like name?
Well, I mean, there's no way they could have known our names. We all gave like, oh, you two both gave like fake names, right?
Of course.
Silent. You see a big dumb smile on her face.
What? Nafisa? Did you give someone your name?
She's just like mentally going through every person she gave her name to.
Oh no.
I didn't give one person my name.
You're gonna have to elaborate on that one there, dear.
All right.
Okay.
Quick question. How common of a name is Nafisa?
I've never heard that name in my goddamn life.
It is quite normal where I come from, so I won't be wanted in the Eastern Marches.
Well, yeah, you won't be one of the Eastern Marches. We didn't commit a crime there. Feng, have you ever heard the name Nafisa before we met this lovely lady?
Is there a way to determine that?
Make a history check, Fung.
Sure. Why
From
not?
your
You ever come
college
across-
years.
15.
15. You have met a couple like people from the Dragonlands before when you were in college, but no, none of them were named Nafisa, but they have similar enough names. Like they seem to be like culturally similar names.
The masculine form of Nafisa is just a one-letter difference.
Mm. I'm sure no one here would be familiar with that name. Of
Yeah.
course.
So yeah, you've not heard Nafisa specifically, but you probably had maybe like 5 or so Dragonlands people at your college.
Well, I suppose the Naf sound is fairly common. The Na.
I'm gonna be honest here. You spoke about leaving and like sleeping elsewhere. If you gave your name, you may not want to leave the protection of the dragons.
Oh, that's fair.
Like if you go out and sleep at a hotel, who's to say they don't already know your face?
Why? But you wouldn't get attacked at the hotel. It's a hotel, right?
What name did you give to the photography company, the newspaper you work for?
I gave my name, my name, and Nix's name. Oh no, Nix, you're a criminal now.
No, not the dog.
Oh jeez, I can't believe I'm a criminal. Oh no, I thought I was a good girl. Am I wrong?
Oh, no.
You,
No,
everyone
you're
else just
very
hears
good girl,
Grass
Nix.
got the
You're
gas,
very
you
good.
go no Kuro.
You were a very good girl, Nix. We are doing just like our parent, just like our mama.
Did
Okay.
you give them any identification?
Nafisa signing the contract to be a photographer.
Oh
Putting
my
aside
God.
the envelope full of pictures that you sent.
Nix also pulls out her scrapbook with all the photos she took with people. You can see like fucking Clara, the big Knoll lady that she gave her name to. Nafisa mentioning her name to the literal host of the party.
Oh my god. Okay, okay. In the future, if we're committing crimes, we don't give our names to people.
But we didn't do a bad thing.
Oh, we did commit a crime. Slay, how many men did you kill?
Quite a few. I think 3, maybe.
We
And
stole
you're
a
an
car.
accomplice.
We
Actually,
stole
Soleil.
a
Oh, sorry, go ahead,
priceless
go on.
artifact. We
Uh,
did a lot of thefts.
You one of the kobolds comes up, a little kobold maid, and she puts down a newspaper in front of you guys from
Oh, no.
Coordinata, and it says estate massacre, multiple killed, priceless artifacts stolen, fundraiser or charity fundraiser ruined. The full extent of the assailants is under investigation, but their identities and photographs that were mailed anonymously to an office were provided that seem to correlate. The one known name is somebody Nafisa, and yeah, and it goes on, but yeah, it's the estate massacre is how it's being titled. Massacre in Coordinata.
Oh, come on now. It's hardly a massacre. It's only 3 dudes.
Mm,
Oh my god.
well, I suppose no press is bad. No, that is not true. There is definitely bad press.
I mean, at
Look,
least
my
the
name
people
is in the paper.
It's a picture of Nafisa doing a selfie.
I mean,
Oh God.
at least the people that were killed were like bad guardsmen, right?
I mean, actually, Soleil, I kind of want to talk to you later about the killing, if that's okay.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, later. Right now, I need to prep. I need to go talk to Boss Lady. I'm blanking on the Dragon Mom's name. I was literally holding it in my head, and then I went to go talk to Soleil, and then I'm like, where did I put that name?
Their short
Soleil
names.
has that effect on people.
Their short names are Lady Stella and Lady Celeste. Lady Stella is the adamantium dragon. Lady Celeste is the mithril dragon. Stella is the older one,
And Lady Celeste is the
younger mithril dragon.
younger mythical. Got it.
Oh,
And Stella was the one we give the skull to last night, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Pog, I
Stella
remember
is the
that.
one with the personal grudge against the entire country of the Eisenstadt.
Relatable.
okay. Well, I mean, they did offer us protection, so that's something. Probably need to lay low for a bit.
I mean, we could go see places and do things, not the bad place, right? We could go around, take photos, sightseeing.
I mean, probably not in the UFAS.
Mm.
This paper. I mean, it got here.
I mean, maybe we're the special case.
Oh, darling, I don't think that the corporations or the police are gonna give us a special case for stealing from people that they don't even know if they were bad.
Mm.
The family had bad history, but the people that we stole from, like, I mean, it's
the Lady
questionable.
the Lady Dragon said they'd offer us protection, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's fine. It's
So
fine.
so we can go explore later. She's like finger touching, looking at.
Maybe
Um,
later.
You
Okay.
you of all people probably want to lay the lowest.
We perhaps should not be using all of your name and face.
I
We should use less of that, perhaps, for
I
now.
like my name.
It is a wonderful name. However, it may also be a very illegal name, given its association.
No, I'll be okay.
Please be careful.
I will be. I am very strong.
I know. Believe me, I know.
And I'm very good at running away. Don't worry, I have that covered too.
Okay.
So, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about or do? I think I'm pretty full on the Kongi. I'm gonna go see Lady Stella now.
I don't really have much, but Feng, I'd love to talk to you when you got a moment. I understand you're probably gonna be doing a little cleanup from here, but free to stop by whenever.
Certainly. I see no reason,
Thank you.
All right. With that, you go your separate ways. Nafisa, you wish to go find Lady Stella?
Yeah, I'm going to ask one of the kobolds if I can go see her.
One of the kobolds will direct you first to Zelik, since Zelik's kind of the kobold in charge of this place and access to the dragons. But you see her in her little office behind her little desk with several newspapers from different publishers as she's reading through them, and you notice that she does have a new thing about her. She's got a single, what appears to be like gold, like a very archaic looking gold coin, on a like silver thread around her neck, like it's being worn as like a necklace over her uniform, and it's just a single little gold coin that she didn't have before. And when she's reading her newspaper, she looks up and goes,
Oh, Nafisa, I've been reading all about you.
You see my pictures?
I have, and I will talk about all of that with you and your companions later this morning.
That's okay, I can wait on that. I was actually wondering if I could talk to Lady Stella, if she's available at the moment.
What specifically would you like to talk to her about?
Last night she shared some feelings that I wanted to think over, and I want to give my feelings back.
All right. Just give me one moment.
and she puts a finger to the one purple earring that she wears. She's got like a purple earring and she's got like a silver earring, and she puts it to the purple one and she says something in High Draconic, and then like a moment passes and she goes,
All right. I'll take you to the audience chamber.
Thank you for being so helpful, Zelik.
It is my job. My duty is to serve my mistresses, and you all are currently topics of interest with them.
And she'll hop out of her little desk and come leading you over to the audience chamber you've been to several times at this point. That's usually where the dragons meet you. The big ass room with the giant double doors. And she'll approach it. She says a little command word. The doors open, and there is Lady Stella standing alone in the chamber in her 9-foot tall humanoid form.
Thank you, Zelik.
And she says something in High Draconic, and Lady Stella just kind of makes a hand gesture, and Zelik bows deeply and closes the door behind you.
Good morning, Lady Stella.
Good morning, little one. I was informed you wished to speak to me.
Yes, I wanted to talk last night, but then I thought maybe I should think over these words because I'm not very good at them. But this is something important, so I need to make sure my words mean good things. You miss your partner a lot, right?
She pauses for a moment. She goes, I do. Yes.
And you shared that pain with Lunas, right?
I have not gone into detail about about Soul to Lunas.
I see. When I was small and my mama had to go with my babu, and when he came back, he was very quiet about a lot of things. It took a long time for him to open up to me. And even now, he's still very, very quiet. But before, when you mentioned that you were pushing for the world that Soul would find ideal and that Lunas would want, but you yourself didn't find faith in it personally, I want you to know if Lunas is anything like me, he'd want to share in that pain with you, as well as share the goodness that you're building for him with you.
I understand why you would perceive things that way. I've lived a very long time, and in my experiences, the past, particularly that involving what happened to Soul, to be incredibly painful, and I waited to have a child with Celeste until I was confident there could be a world that that child could be able to live in without the fears that I had previously. I took the chance that enough time had gone by and we had secured enough for him that this world could be better than the last time I had made that decision. And as you have seen from meeting my son, he has a particular optimism about the world that I do not wish to dampen with the misdeeds of those centuries past. He has significantly more attachment for the lives of mortals than I would otherwise have in his place. And I don't want to take that world away from him by burdening him with mine.
Lady Stella, if Soleil is anything, if Lunas is anything like me, then maybe he already knows there's something that you're holding back. Something that I think he's strong enough to know and keep his optimism with. My Babu hasn't told me everything, but I know he has regrets. And while he hasn't told me it all yet, I know he can tell me, and I'll still feel the same way I feel about the world. I know Lunas will still love you and still push for the better world with you, no matter what awful things you tell him.
She kind of just stands there for a moment and says, I will take what you have said into consideration. I have concerns, and I am sure that while I may have a way of thinking that can be alien even to the children of stone, such as your parents, I'm sure there is a reason why your father does not wish to discuss some of the things that he may know with you. And perhaps there is a very good reason for that, that you are not yet prepared to handle. That is simply an opinion.
I know. But I know just like Lunas, I'll be ready one day, and I'll have my ears very wide open for my dad. The same way he will be for you. Um, just one more thing, Lady Stella. When my dad gets sad, he talks a bit more, and I heard him talking with my uncle, and he's really scared of living for a long time like you. So, if if I'm not around for him, could you make sure that he'll be okay?
If you give me the information about him, I can certainly see what I can do.
Okay. My dad made me promise not to say his name too loudly or to use it everywhere, but I'll try to whisper it to you, and she'll say her dad's name in Draconic, in vulgar Draconic.
She kind of cocks her head to the side and goes, I have heard of your father before.
Please keep it a secret. He did not want me to get in trouble with it.
I see that I understand the power that information such as that can have, but I am familiar from his time. I will note this should it come to pass in the future that I am required.
Thank you, Lady Stella. I'd hug you, but Luna says I smell weird, and that would seem unprofessional. And
All of the children of stone do not. They are as strange to true dragons as they are likely to, as we are to any other mortal. It is a difficult thing to get over, but I have experience in such things. And I understand it is a gesture you mean with respect, and I appreciate that it is something you considered.
Nafisa will just nod. Out of character, does that mean hug okay?
No, that means she understands
Okay.
that you want to do it, and it's from a place of goodness, but she is not a hugging type.
Okay. Thank you, Lady Stella. I'm going to go clean up and get ready to do whatever I'm doing today with my friends.
And before you leave, she'll just say, um, I. If it provides you any solace, you should know that Sulkin Terran Vekoth would have liked you.
Thank you, Lady Stella. I know I would have loved him as well. Thank you. Oh, I'm gonna copy paste that name in my notes. Thank you so much.
Gotta love all these long draconic names. That's why I give them all their short form name for people to call them. But yeah, with that, you can leave her chamber and giving her something certainly to think about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, Feng and Aurora.
Yeah, alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
I've already forgotten if I said to come find me or if I'll find you. I think I said come find me. Is that correct? Do you remember?
I, I don't remember.
Come find her.
No.
She's bad at directions.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, I am not about to leave the kitchen until I've finished cleaning up. So I'm gonna clean up anything that I used in making the kongi, and I'll see if I can't track down this sheep.
Okay. Yeah. If need be, a kobold can always tell you where to find her.
Okay. Uh, so where do I find her?
In her room. She is
Okay.
busy painting in her room at the moment.
I knock.
Oh, one second. She'll just kind of like you'll kind of hear just like a bunch of things get like set to the side. She puts her paints down, and just before coming to the door and kind of open it up and just say, "Oh, I'm glad the dishes didn't take too long. Please come on in."
Of course.
You can see she's actually got like a bit of paint on her hands in general. One particular, just with her left hand being grayscale, it's probably a bit more noticeable on that side of things, but just a little bit messy, and just kind of saying, oh God, and she finds like a second chair and says, "Please feel free, sit down there, sit down on the bed, whatever works." I kind of forgot to prepare for this because I had an idea in mind.
You you needn't be so formal about it. I've certainly accustomed myself to this. And yeah, I think that we're just trying to decide what the most efficiently autistic way I can sit down here is. And I think it's going to be one leg dangling down, the other leg tucked under to cushion.
God, that's exactly how I'm sitting. Uh,
Sniped.
Wow.
that is how I sit in my chair most often.
Same.
Anyways,
Art reflects life.
art reflects life. Yippee! Okay, so, well, oh God, I don't. There's, for being as charismatic as I am, I always find it hard to start conversations with these kind of things because I end up kind of rambling a bit. But
Rambling is fine. It means that it's something, in my experience, that you are passionate about.
right. Well, I guess just if you'll excuse me, to ramble a bit here. I guess I've been trying. Well, I guess it's still a new thing that I'm willing to commit to this whole freaking adventuring thing. But I feel like with Soleil and Nafisa, it's pretty cut and dry. Nafisa's a good little girl, and Soleil is a big old hulk of a man. But
Mm.
uh, you you on the other hand are one that I just can't quite pin down. And well, just to put it very bluntly, I feel like there's at least two versions of you. It's like you've got this side of yourself which is very, warm, open, and welcoming to other people. Then you've also got this like villainous kind of persona going on that just like is here to manipulate others and all sorts of stuff like that. And I don't think that's really truly you, but I guess that's kind of what I'm looking to learn a bit more about. And just, I mean, you're a fascinating girl, Fong, and that's
You
I want
flatter
to be
me.
fascinated.
Well, I can certainly try. I can't promise for one who has a similarly uh, mercurial muse. I can't promise to stay fascinating, but I can certainly endeavor. And fascinating, it is certainly one of my preferred adjectives that has been applied to me. I've had worse. But yes, I see no reason why I could not try to be open. This is, after all, the very early days of understanding one another.
Hmm. Right. I think why don't we do a little trade in that way? What's I want to know about this arm, and you seem to be able to like do some real cool magic, and I just well, it's obviously very different from what I do, but I mean, I'm just it may not seem so, just given that my magic all comes from place of art, but I'm just fascinated by how you seem to be able to do something similar where it comes out of your what comes out of your arm. Is it natural? Is the arm magical? What you got going on there?
Hmm. I suppose it is in order. Yes, it is natural. Yes, it is magical. Yes, it comes from the arm, but yes, it comes so too from myself. I think perhaps it might be overcomplicating things to think of it as simply or rather as complicated as something that it is an entirely different conception of magic. For you, magic is an art. It is something you create, yes?
Yeah, I mean,
So
I've
too for me.
yeah.
My craft is a little different, but the magic that springs from it is not too different from your, and pardon if I overreach, wizarding, I assume.
Uh gets a little muddy, but I think that's a close descriptor. Like, I mean, I definitely like learned a hell of a lot about this when I was younger. Kind of a bit of a hyperfixation in a way where I just kind of studied and was fascinated by magic as a whole. And then, I always had a bit of a desire for painting as well. And there's just one day when I just kind of took a look at a paint drop and noticed that the same kind of stuff that makes up life and magic out in the world is also in there. And well, that's I guess not the oversimplification, but the basic gist of it that there's there's magic in color as well. And color, just like magic, can be shaped and made different. And I guess that's what makes I've been told at least that's what makes my art so special is that it's well no one else can do it. I imagine others could if they put the work in for it, but it's nobody else. I think I've never met anybody that can do something like that.
It's something beautiful and very, very tiring, is it not? To have such a demanding muse that we must give it what it wants, for
I mean,
anything close to what we want.
of course. I mean, like, there's some days, I'm just basically sketching in a sketchbook and it's nice and simple. But then I'll have this idea of, like, oh, well, my next major piece, I want to make sure that I draw a literal flowing river. And I mean, other people probably just, draw a few like strokes of like the water rippling along the way to demonstrate motion. But like, holy shit, I do the whole ass thing. Like it literally moves. And it's so freaking cool. I love it so much. But holy God, it does take a bit more out of me to actually have to put magic into everything that I do. And I mean, like for yourself, your whole existence is magic, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose so. You say that magic to you is color, yes?
Yeah. I
To
mean,
me, it
yeah.
is sound. I hear in magic. I see a I see the colors you paint with, the magic you paint your colors in, and I hear. She, I think she just kind of has been fiddling a little bit with it and takes out the multi-purpose tool to just take the little tuning fork section out. I simply hear the difference in the magic tone between "ding" and "ding." it it is the difference between reds and blue. It is the difference between magic and mundane. To grasp something so firmly, yet when you try to explain it, have it be so elusive. Uh, but yes, you work in paint and artwork. I work in the art of replacement. I
Aurora.
I take
Oh,
what is missing and I try to create something that fills the purpose, perhaps fills more than it.
as she is listening, she is like in the little chair that she's in. She's probably sitting on her little the little stool that she paints in. Is she is like leaned in, like hand on her chin, just listening incredibly intently to every single word that you say. Holy jeez. When I was in art school, I met a lot of people that had a lot of different individual unique talents. And it's always just so fascinating to see other people pursue their craft and pursue their dreams and everything like that. It's just fascinating. I
And what of
mm,
yourself? I I understand your wish to paint the world as it truly is, to be the mirror to what you wish for others to see. But I I must confess I cannot hope to understand all of your own inner workings as well.
oh, it's all right. Um, so we get into a little bit more of a. There's like a. She hesitates as she kind of looks to the left. It's just a little.
Also looks to the left, her left.
It's just a little bit kind of complicated with that stuff. I have big aspirations, of course, but well, most people around here don't exactly care about that kind of stuff. They don't want any of that. They just want themselves as grandiose and as wonderful as they can be.
Mm.
And it's. You know what it does when you're told that you have to answer to the beck and whim of the people that ordered and commanded the destruction of your home?
Mm.
That's that's what I was asked to do. Well, that's what I was supposed to do, in a way. That was the dream coming out of art school, was to get a patron, appease their every whim, be taken care of, make a lot of money. And well, that's just there's the sense of self-righteousness inside of me, and I think it's helped me stay true. But there's this there's this part of me that can't help but feel like well, I think you know what it just going down the limb, I think you know all about the good old demon of self-doubt.
Mm. Yes, I cannot begin to theorize what the conflict between conquering and being conquered is. But I certainly know, I know well the pressure of expectation of what you should want, what you are told you should want, what you know would be best for others around you that you can't bring yourself to accept as a simple truth for yourself.
Aurora's gonna sit up and just stand up and kind of walk over and just sort of like set a chair next to Feng. Just kind of put a hand on her shoulder and just be like, some good insights we're having out today, aren't we?
Well, I suppose there's an advantage to seeing a familiar situation outside of yourself. Comfort, certainly.
Hey, next time you come by, I I don't want to keep you too much longer. I feel like I've already intruded on a lot of your time, but
Uh,
um, next time, I'll be happy to show you a little bit more about how I see magic.
Certainly, I would
If you do
be,
the same.
of course, I would be more than happy to. It's the least I can do for indulging in uh, my many faced personas and my
All right,
foolish dreams.
I'm one of your minions for world domination. Is that right?
Uh,
Oh, so did
minion,
I a little bit
minion
wrong?
minion, I feel, implies something of a one-sided relationship. I've never, I've never felt quite right with the goblin cultural idea of the clan with the definition where it is. We are alive. We are sentient, sapient people. We are, regardless of kith or kin or creed, we are still, to some degree, I have learned through my experiences, a member of our own clan. To help others is to help yourself, right?
I think it makes sense.
So I wish to be as of much service to others as I could hope to ask in return. I wish not to be a ruler of this world. No, I would much rather change it to be a much better functioning, much much softer, kinder, at least, world, if nothing else.
Well, think of any ways for me to be of service to you, then I'd be happy to help.
Likewise.
I should go get cleaned up. I realize I still got a bunch of paint on me, and I think we're due in a
If you
bit.
so, if you so please.
Mm.
It's certainly up to you. I think the colors suit you rather well.
I mean, I appreciate that, but I gotta keep up a bit of a professional demeanor in this kind of place, as loath as I might be to do so. Bit more of a fast and loose kind of gal.
Well, I look forward to seeing from your blank slate what new colors you plan on painting with.
You take care now, all right?
Same to you. And yeah, I think that this is, after all, Aurora's room. So I think I'm going to be the one to leave so you can. I assume there's like an attached bathroom to rooms this grand. So like, yeah, I'm gonna peace out.
Or just be Soleil and just go to the laundry room. Speaking of Soleil, Aurora, do you wish to approach Soleil?
Yeah, I think she'd, get herself cleaned up, get the paint off, and then probably head over to Soleil's room, probably ask for a kobold to help her get there,
a
because she does not know where he is.
a kobold will gladly guide you to Soleil's room.
Oh, no, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course, we are here to serve all of the guests of Our Ladies.
Wonderful. She'll just kind of take a deep breath and take a knock on Slay's door and say, "Slay, it's me."
You'll hear him from inside, just like, yeah, come on in. He won't even open the door.
Are you decent?
You want to find out?
Fair enough. And she'll open the door.
He is in fact decent. You actually find him. He's got one of his blades in his lap, and it looks like he was working on sharpening it with a whetstone. What can I do you for?
Oh, it's not much. I just you take good care of those things, don't you?
Well, a dull blade won't do anyone any good.
Fair enough. I just kind of want to stop by and say, well, thank you for protecting me the other day. It was a scary situation we found ourselves in, but I managed to get out with basically not a scratch on me, and I think that's very much thanks to you for being such a strong man.
He just kind of tilts his head a little bit. I mean, I wasn't about to leave you in a bad situation, Aurora.
Well, no. I mean, I know that you wouldn't do that. It's just, well, I've never been in a situation like that before. All the crimes I've done has just been petty thievery.
Well, I'm glad I could be of assistance. Although, if you don't mind me saying so, I don't think I'm the only one protecting you, am I?
I mean, yeah, I've got the others.
True, true. But
You all
and
protect me, and I
he just
appreciate
kind
it.
of gives a little shrug. Just, I mean, unless I miss my mark, I'm willing to wager you're fey touched.
Uh,
It's not often you see a shadow with purple eyes.
there's like a noticeable panic to her at that statement because she has never had anybody call out or even notice Nethris. Eh, Faint touched. I mean, I am I am Fae myself, at least distantly, in some way, shape, or form, I suppose.
Soleil, could you please make a perception check for me?
Yeah. That's another
Oh.
21.
Nice.
Give the lore.
You notice in response to Aurora's agitation, her shadow seems to shift a bit and get a bit more like, she's standing there and it seems to be much more kind of circling around her. Like it's expanded out to be like fully, there's a border of the shadow between you and her.
Soleil kind of lifts his hands defensively, like, hey, I ain't one to judge. it's fine. I look, y'all were offering to do me a pretty big favor earlier this morning, helping me with my family's issues. And if we're gonna tackle this together, I'd like to know what my allies are capable of. That's all.
She's still kind of in like a little bit of panic mode in a way. Like there's this thought that just pops into her head of just like oh, I'm not good enough at this either. And the thinking back to her exam when she turned 18. Like, uh well, I mean, I'm definitely not really definitely not really used to using my magic and using my art to hurt people, but think I think I've proven myself well enough that I'm capable of assisting you and assisting our companions.
Soleil gets a weird sort of vibe from the fear and agitation that she seems to be emitting, and he just gives a very pointed look and just says, "Is your shadow unfriendly to you?"
No, what? She realizes that she kind of just spoke, admitting to the shadows, realness. Sh-
I mean,
No, no. You, I take it you know more about this kind of stuff than I reckon most people.
he gives another kind of nonchalant shrug, just, I suppose. I know that it can be complicated. I know a lot of people who deal with Her Majesty don't know the full extent of which they do, because things get kind of muddy, but so long as you're okay, that's what matters.
Don't don't say anything about this to the others, please. But um I said I trusted you earlier, so I think I gotta at this point, there's no reason to hide. You know what's going on. Um no, my shadow's very friendly. She's been my companion for some 5 years. And specifically over the last one, when it's just been me, well, just been me and her. So she's been stalwart in making sure that I get through things all right. So don't think that this is some hostage situation. It ain't that. This is uh, I care about her, and even if she may be a little bit more emotionally stunted, I know that she cares about me too.
Hey, like I said, I'm not voice of companionship. I mean, I know some people who are quite close to Her Majesty and her ilk, and they're pretty cool. Like me and Prince, we go way back. But it's
Prance. Wait, you
mhm.
don't mean Ikashi, right?
Ah, yeah. We call him Prince.
It's that cannot be okay with him.
That's how I was introduced to him.
I've never met him.
Hmm,
He
really
demands
cool guy.
respect. What?
Yeah, super chill.
No, that that can't be right. I've been. He's one of those people that like, if you get on his wrong side, he'd literally like snap you out of existence, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
What? Wait a minute.
But
Wait. I mean, and she's kind of putting some pieces together in her mind. You're you're the kid of the Bargist, right?
yep, that's my mama.
So you're like, holy jeez, you're like the child of an archfey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Sorry, I kind of just put it into perspective considering how I treat, well, how I'm supposed to treat Ikashi. And the fact that someone of that power is essentially your mother. That's just kind of insane to me. Oh god. Don't tell them anything. It's not that I've done anything wrong. It's just I don't want to get on Prince's bad side. Shit, I don't want to get on Ikashi's bad side. I'm sorry.
So,
She's
li-
apologizing internally to
my
Nethris.
my lips are sealed in that. But if you've got a shadowy companion, I'm glad that you've got the extra pair of eyes keeping an eye on your back. I won't tell the others because you asked me to, but I don't quite understand why you want to keep it a secret. After all, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Plenty of people make pacts with the Raven Queen.
I, I know. After all, she's a kind soul, at least us here in Nexus. It's well, I guess I just don't like feeling like people know that I may have received some form of help.
You just thanked me for helping you earlier.
Fair enough. Guess I'm a bit of a hypocrite in that way. There's just, I mean, you were there when Nafisa kept offering to buy, or to give me money to buy a dress. It's just not something I much like doing.
Listen,
She,
I don't get the whole money and credits thing, but when it comes to power and strength, there's no shame in getting help from an ally. I mean, I may you don't know me very well, so I might strike you as a lone wolf kind of guy, but that's only because my circumstances find me as such. When I'm home and I go hunting, we hunt together. I never find myself alone. and we're stronger for it.
Can I just make one small little correction, in a way?
Mm.
This pact, it's not for power. Nothing like that.
I'll
It's
take it
just-
you want to retain a air of mysterious allure and not tell me what it is?
I mean, it is a bit more intriguing, isn't it? I do like to be fascinating to the people that draw to me.
Look, it's... At the end of the day, it's none of my business, is it? But... if, your friend there is an asset and protects you, it's not such a bad deal then, is it? So I don't think it's one that you feel like you need to hide.
Yeah.
I know I'm not exactly the, not exactly the friendliest of guys, per se. I know how I come off. But I know that, well, I trust that, you'll make the right choice, Aurora, that's all.
She is my guardian angel. And I trust her with my life.
So she always watches you, huh?
Yeah. I'm sure she sometimes watches a bit more closely than other times, but I know at least she always feels. So she knows when to be ready.
So was she present when you and I were, getting a little busy?
Oh my god. There it is. I fucking knew it.
Was your guardian angel like watching as we banged? Was she with us at that? Yeah, I know God's with us always, but
I literally made this meme, but like you're 4 inches into Soleil and Nethris is 4 inches into you. Are you moving forwards or backwards?
She's never exactly told me. I don't think she cares, to be honest.
Alright, because look, I don't mind having a third-party observer, but I do like to know it ahead of time, so I'll keep that in mind in the future.
Fair enough, but if I had to guess, I don't think she really wants to be much part of that kind of thing. Doesn't exactly drive any pleasure from seeing or none her experience in it.
Yeah, her loss.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. You're a weird man.
The understatement of the century.
yeah.
I'm starting to pick that up. I feel like I'm kind of floundering on all the local customs.
Oh. I mean,
Like, I was just doing my laundry earlier this morning. People were freaking out.
why would they freak out? You're just
I don't know.
that's perfectly normal to do laundry, if anything.
I know, right?
Wait, do you own other clothes?
I mean, sure, but you don't exactly have time to pack when you get warped into another dimension.
Slay, do you only have that pair of clothes?
And I take very good care of them.
Oh. So, what were you wearing when you were doing laundry?
Well, nothing. I was washing my clothes.
Oh my god. You do know that it's kind of socially unacceptable to be not wearing nothing when you go out into public, right?
I wasn't public. I was in the laundry room.
No, I know, but take it there are other people there doing their jobs.
Yeah, they were minding their own business, doing their jobs.
Oh, I'm sure they were minding something else. Oh, God. Okay, well, mm, lots to teach. Lots to teach. It's all right, though.
I know that.
I mean, didn't your mother or something try and ever teach you like the basic customs of the mortal world just in case?
They tried a little bit, telling me stories and stuff. Some etiquette classes, but we don't really abide too much by that in the hunt. So,
Oh, fair enough.
also, their plane was different from this one, so who knows? The rules may be entirely different.
Did you get any blushes out of the staff from seeing you in the nude?
Yeah.
Certainly are pleasing to look at.
Don't I know it?
I think I'm gonna head out now.
All right.
I don't blame you, or I want you to know that I still trust you, even if you may have gotten worried there for a second in some way, shape, or form.
Glad to hear it. I hope your friend thinks I'm okay too.
I hope so too.
All right. So as you guys part, some kobolds come and flag all four of you down and escort you to Zelik's office as she wants to speak to you all.
All right.
As you each in turn arrive, you see Zelik behind her little desk as she arrays a series of newspapers in front of her and then picks them up and puts them at the high table, that, you know, the medium person size table, and she starts putting them down along with a series of like manila folders with a bunch of documents in them. And she sits in her high chair as she goes,
Please sit. I believe we have a lot to discuss.
Are the newspapers here too, DM?
yes, yeah, she put them on the table from various newspaper things, all talking about the, you know, the massacre of Coordinata and pictures of Nafisa.
There's pictures of the others there too.
They're not necessarily pictures. Well, did you send pictures of the rest of your party members with it?
Oh yeah, I would have sent them like all the
Okay.
photos of them.
Okay, then yeah, there's
Yeah.
pictures of everyone.
At
Everyone
least
is
I'm
in it.
last.
Guys,
Nafisa's the
picture-
only name in it then, but there's pictures of all of you.
Guys,
Picture
I'm getting
Soleil,
some bounty pics.
Yeah. I picture Soleil's looks like a blurry, like cryptid photo. Like,
And she looks and goes,
So, I believe it's time that I receive a bit of a debrief about what happened in Coordinata.
you don't have to do a full
Yeah.
recounting if you don't want. You can just say, like, you tell her what happened, but if somebody wants to actually say it, you are more than welcome to.
We should
Things
recap
got a
what we
little
did.
out of hand at the end.
Well, basic gist of things. Myself and Soleil here, we snuck in while Nafisa and Feng were incognito amongst the staff. And then we blew our way into the vault, grabbed the thing, and then made our way out. But getting into the vault, raised a couple alarms. And so we just kind of got out of there as quick as we could. And yeah, I think that covers it.
I see.
I met a lot of nice people, and Nafisa's gonna pull out the scrapbook of all the other photos of people that she took. Oh, that one's named Clara, and that's Lysandra, and
Yes, I'm aware of these people, as there are numerous accounts of you talking to them and saying your name is Nafisa. And
We have advised our dear darling Nafisa on the use of her legal name in such abundance.
yeah, they said this was good.
No, we
That's not
the
entirely
opposite.
what we said.
we said the opposite.
well, yes, I would recommend in the future to perhaps operate a bit more incognito in future operations. I did leave a significant swath of this to your discretion. I now see why that was a mistake. But it's okay. This is all things we can deal with. The first thing is I would not recommend returning to Casil anytime soon. Also, probably don't take any journeys to the Eisenstadt for a while, as they are similarly miffed at the loss of their artifacts. But that was something we kind of understood going into this. And it's going to take me some time to be able to find people who are going to be willing to take the fall for you all. We'll find them. We have agents who are willing to serve their time in prison in exchange for a suitable enough compensation.
Wait, these people are gonna serve jail time in our stead?
Well, they are less useful agents than you are, so we're going to compensate them for it, and it'll ensure that you can continue to operate with greater discretion.
Is there any way they could not go to jail? Because going to jail means you can't do things for a long time, right?
Oh, it's okay. These are people that will likely already have various issues present for them, so I wouldn't stress too much about it. They'll be compensated, and we of course will have to do a corresponding deduction from the amount that was potentially going to be payable to you, but I think that you should find the amount to be satisfying.
Okay. I
It
will
is
note
a
for
learning opportunity, Nafisa. Now we know not to share our names and faces as much.
So y'all got a spare werewolf to lock up?
We have our ways. Not
just
everything.
a pink.
What?
Sorry, go ahead. I was just a pink tiefling. They glued a bunch of hair on.
Not everything requires a direct replacement, of course. Certain, information you can get witnesses who can counter corroborate, etc. But that's my logistics that I have to handle in my responsibilities. If you want, I could provide you the currency directly, or we could perhaps open up a Helios Aurum account for each of you so that you can be able to have the money put into it and have it accessible throughout the world at the various branches and corresponding institutions that respect the cooperative. And you could get local currency, etc. But it's ultimately up to you.
Nafisa looks like her brain is about to pop, and she looks at Aurora.
Aurora and Hung would know who Helios Aurum is. Helios Aurum is like the big transnational bank. Like there's a central Helios Aurum organization, and then they have basically cooperative agreements with banks throughout other parts of the world that basically give them reciprocity. So they are a megacorp bank. And so you guys know that you've seen their stuff everywhere, kind of thing.
Would that be? I assume it would be untrackable, considering everything.
Oh, definitely. We have our means to ensure you'll get the appropriate accounts to make scrutiny difficult.
Okay. In
Which
that case, that sounds
sorry.
fine.
Which also leads to the folders I put in front of you. Those are a series of documents to finalize your process as a free company in employ with my mistresses, as well as a GIA's NDA for each of you, and other corresponding support documents. All very, very boilerplate.
What are the terms of the gears?
It's fairly standard. It's ensuring that you cannot disclose various specific matters that are deeply affecting the employers and some of their things that they tell you and the true nature of some of the tasks that may be assigned to you, etc.
All right.
But yeah, so as she says, unless you feel like, going full lawyer mode, something none of you are trained in, all of it seems like it's fairly straightforward documents. Soleil has no idea what the fuck any of this is, but
Does he know what a pen is?
Actually, surprisingly enough, Soleil, I scratched that. You would actually understand this because your father and your mothers were both very aware of a similar set of things in their own world.
True. So true.
Yeah, this is actually something that you have a reference point for. But yeah, so all the documents are very standard. There's a slot for basically like free company name where it's just got TBD written in it. If you ever decide to come up with a group name, you can do it. Otherwise, it's just you're still a legal entity working for the Dragon Moms. If you want to sign up for direct deposit, you can get a bank account sign up. Otherwise, she'll just pay you in cash.
Bank thing good, yeah, Aurora?
You're asking me?
I don't know. I've never.
Oh, please ask Feng on this one.
Feng?
I have not had a single cent to my name for over a year.
Listen, Laszlo didn't trust banks. He kept all his money under his mattress, so
I would say it is all right. This is a little too much money to comfortably store under a mattress, nor will we have mattresses to take with us always.
you should see his mattress.
Is that the euphemism?
Yep.
I hope
He just
not.
kind of shrugs.
What I'm trying to figure out
doesn't
what
actually
would,
know how big the mattress is.
what would the euphemism be?
I don't rightfully know. It just kind of sounded like one.
Nyx is also going to sign next to Nafisa with like the ink paw print.
Yeah, the paw print.
So we need a group name, yeah? Yeah?
Oh, not necessarily for now.
Yes,
No,
we don't expect. You've only been working together for a week, so we don't expect you to have, such kind of bonds yet. But if you decide to do a name, we will legally register it under you.
I have an idea for the name that all the bards and singers can say. I was thinking because we're all pretty and colorful. I was thinking maybe prism. Like a spectrum of light comes out of it. Prism. What do you think? It's like very smug, very like big brain.
It is certainly an idea that will be at the top of the list of ideas we can discuss.
It's a pretty name. I'll give you that much.
Mm-hmm.
You
Soleil?
He looks a little confounded at the idea of like even needing to name the group. So he just kind of tilts his head and just I don't get it.
It's like you were told stories growing up, right? Would you get told stories about a group of adventurers with a group name perhaps, of 2 words?
2 colors, perhaps.
As a matter of fact, yes.
Yes, they had one, so we should have one too.
Yeah, my moms and my dad, they were a part of an organization, kind of like this. So it's kind of funny because their name actually didn't match with a lot of the people who were in it. So I didn't get that either.
Symbolism was real off.
At one point, it was accurate.
Go watch Ashes.
Go watch Ashes: The Last War. That's the real takeaway.
Okay, I will hold on to this name. I see you are not ready for my genius.
Nyx goes, I liked it.
That is why Nyx is the smart girl.
So, do you guys sign all the paperwork?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
What could go wrong?
Do you guys all do direct deposit?
All right.
Yeah.
Whatever my friends tell me is good. Thumbs up. Yes, direct deposit.
Okay. So you guys can indicate on your sheets that you each have a bank account, and it has Zelik will put 500 credits each for each of you in it.
Should we put that on our sheets, DM?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And so, using that account, if you're ever in another country or continent or whatever, you can just withdraw money in the local gold equivalent currency.
Would we have a type of card, perhaps, made out of a flimsy material with numbers on it?
They could provide you magical cards, magical debit
hell
cards.
Hell
It's more just like a proof of ownership thing rather than like an actual debit card.
Gotcha.
So it's just
we no Electrum system, no Electrum microchip.
It's just a magically like connected card that shows that you in fact are a legitimate account holder with a corresponding account. And so once all that is signed, she clears it and goes, well, and she picks up the newspapers and kind of puts them in a pile at the corner and goes, well, that is in the past, and we are now moving into the future. Welcome, I know it was said before, but welcome to officially come to work for our organization. We have already been told that there is a specific task that my mistresses would like you to complete for them. That is of an urgent need currently.
Do go on.
It has come to our attention that located far to the east, there is an area where there is potentially an ancient weapon that could be very dangerous if it falls into the wrong hands. And we believe that there is another organization that is currently flying there via Zephyr ship that is trying to get the weapon for themselves. So we feel it would be appropriate to ensure that you get there before them and can retrieve it and come home.
Very well. What exactly do we know of this weapon or the other group?
My mistresses have painfully little information about the specifics of the weapon. It's been indicated in ancient legends and stories that there is a powerful weapon hidden deep within the Sapphire Sea in the east. And there apparently is enough legitimacy to these stories that the Nexite Consortium is sending a heavily armed and prepared team to try and go collect it on their own, which, for whatever reason, they've never done in previous decades or centuries.
Those hacks.
Wait, did you say the Sapphire Sea?
I did. It's a large desert body
to the east, north of the Painted Desert.
I am familiar. Would we be safe there?
Uh,
Like from the big thing?
it's good that you brought that up. There is a known danger residing in the Sapphire Sea. Supposedly, there is a enormous serpent creature that lives in the sand that has a petrifying gaze that has so far been very protective of the region and ensured that it has not been very thoroughly studied and that no one's ever lived to have any additional information about it.
I like these odds.
Wonderful.
So this sounds like it's going to be a pretty cut and dry, simple kind of combat operation. Is that right?
In theory, the weapon, it might require some exploration to be able to find and retrieve it, but presumably if you're able to defeat the Leviathan, then it should be just a matter of time. You have a significant head start. It should take several days for the Zephyr ship to arrive there.
Right.
Just thinking back to her dream. This weapon, this wouldn't have anything to do with blue stones or anything of the like, right?
She shrugs. She goes, I have no idea what the weapon actually does. I just know that it's there and my mistresses demand it.
Okay. Okay, if Lady Stella wants it, that means it's for a good reason.
I wish I could tell you more about what the Leviathan's capabilities are, but as I said, no one's really lived to tell the tale. But you all seem capable, and were able to overpower numerous foes prior to this point, so I have full faith in your capability.
We'll be fine, guys.
As a part of this, we will provide you with enough additional expense money that you can be able to make the return journey. Because unfortunately, I can only teleport you there. I can't bring you back. So you're going to have to.
Where exactly will we be landing?
Probably close to the sea itself.
Probably.
Yeah,
Near civilization, or
no one lives around the sea. It's in a kind of undisturbed border area between that portion of the Eastern Marches, the divine domain of Vanyaska, and the Ravenan Imperium.
That's okay. I will be able to guide us home from there, guys. She's like very smug about it.
But with the money, it should take you a few days to arrive at the Ravenan Imperium, and from there you should be able to take a ship to Venonia.
So simple once we get the weapon. And I guess the one question that remains then, the weapon, is it something we can like carry easily?
Presumably, it's from what little I've been able to glean from legends, it is something that should, while there's claims that it is very large, it seems like there is more that it is a very targeted type of weapon. So it should be something probably more man-portable.
All right. I mean,
should
I guess we
take
got
one
the big
of
puppy
those?
back here.
Should we take one of those orbs that we had last in case?
Unfortunately, I have not been authorized to distribute another orb.
It's alright, I got it.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be that heavy or big.
I mean, between the two of you got plenty of strength to go around.
And you can help us, Aurora.
No, I cannot.
All right. Well, sorry.
I was gonna say, trust me, you don't want me to help with that one.
Well, if this is acceptable, you're all signed. If you could gather your things, I can move to the teleportation circle and I can send you on your way.
Do we? I am addressing this more to the group at large. Do we think it's pertinent to gather any supplies before we embark?
Oh, she can supply you with whatever you need to, make the survival trip back to return to Vanilla.
Like out of character, B, are you talking about like buying magical items with the 500 gold we just got just now, or
Potentially.
If you want to shop and grab some stuff now, you can. I'll even just hand wave that, but
Yeah, but just as creating the narrative opportunity so that we can later say, yeah, this is what we were doing in this amount of time before we left.
Okay.
damn, you got me looking now.
Right?
Well, if you can do a brief shopping thing to grab any magic items or whatever. Zelig will ensure you guys are adequately provisioned for the journey. But we can cover that in the downtime as we're going to be wrapping up the session now. We didn't get to the Sapphire Sea tonight, but we got plenty of shenanigans that did occur. So I hope everybody had fun tonight watching. I especially hope all my players had fun playing.
Always.
And if you haven't done so already, you should please follow me here on Twitch. You can follow me or you can give me a sub on YouTube, where I've got all the episodes of everything there. You can also follow me on Blue Sky, where I post lots of stuff and art of this game and everything. And you can join my Discord, the Eternal Citadel, and be a part of my incredible community. You should also go check out all my wonderful players. They're all amazing beings in their own right. Nearly all of them are running a campaign in their own way. I think literally everyone is running a campaign in their own way. And so you should go check all those out. They're all good people and fun to watch. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful night. We're going to go raid the AGF Arsenal. If you're a follower, please copy down the call to hugs. If you're a sub, please copy down the Knight's message. And here we go. Next time is going to be spicy. And I'm not going to show off the art I got of the Leviathan. Tragically.
First 15 minutes, don't worry.
But you guys will see it soon, and it is awesome, and Calaheb did great work. So it is heckin' sweet.
Don't worry about it, Day.
Yeah, if you want to see it, come back in 2 weeks, and you'll get to see it in its full glory. Yeah, remember to copy that down, and I hope you guys have a great night. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.